You do come up with some crazy ideas for locations for videos.
Well, when Anker contacted me, they basically said they would like it to be done outside and what my idea was, and I was a bit hungry at the time. And all I could think about was pizza. So I said, we'll make a pizza in the middle of nowhere with it. I didn't really envisage dragging it for a mile with all the gear. Probably I didn't think it completely through, but it proves the wheels work on the unit.
Yeah, it's easy to drag.
Might be covered in sheep poo. Well, I don't think. The information they sent with it said it was very rugged, but I don't think anybody's going to drag it as far as this on these tracks. We're standing up to it well, and we've made it to our secret location. And I'm pleased to report those sturdy wheels and what they're saying about its robustness is correct. No problem whatsoever. And it has done some serious off-roading. Got a bit of muck on it. It's working well. And we've come a fair old distance. I don't know if you can see it, but that little dot over there is the van. Yeah, I might come up with a different idea next. We had a slight incident with the pizza base. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's what happens when you hack over the moor with it.
I reckon there's some fancy. I might ring the Guinness Book of Records. The furthest wheeled power unit. The first pizza to be had at this altitude on the moor. First class lunatic for thinking of the idea. There we go, look, absolutely fine. If you've never heard of Anker before, they've been around a long time. They make lots of little power units, but they're changing the game and going big style with this. Very robust. And with any Anker products, they're always great quality. I've reviewed a number of them in the past, including waterproof speakers and all sorts. But this beast here is known as the Anker SOLIX, or the Powerhouse, and it's expandable, so you can buy a backup battery. We like that nowadays. You never know how much power you're going to use in the future, so if you buy something like this, you can expand it later on. Charging ports in the back and a reset button, and this will take up to 1,000 watts of solar. The handle works really well. It's not like one of them dodgy suitcases. This is a quality piece of kit. And the wheels, as you've seen, they've stood up really well. Can't believe there's no sheep poo on them though. Sockets on the front, three 3-pin AC outlets, 2 car sockets, the cigarette sockets, and lots of USBs. And it's got a light as well. And that's like a low level light, so if you're using it around your campsite, you can use it as ambient light as well. So let's see how it runs the pizza oven then. As soon as we dragged it all the way up here. So there it is, 100% charged, and it's running this pizza oven at 1,116 watts, and it says it'll run it for 16 hours. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. These are great, these little pizza ovens. I'll put the link to this in the description of the video as well. The unit has, on its AC side, 2,048 watt hours. So it will produce 2,048 watts for an hour. So you can work out what appliances you're going to run and divide it by that total amount. Although it's got a quality inverter inside, and we'll test it in the cottage as we do with all our power units for off-grid living. But this has a 2,300 watt inverter. So it'll take appliances up to and slightly over 2,300 watts. So it has no problem running this, and it'll probably run 3 of these pizza ovens. It's pretty impressive for its size, isn't it? Anker are also running a Fans Day, and this Fans Day is going to start on the 25th of June, and there'll be massive offers available. So check out the description below for all the information, and I'll also pin the links in the comment as well so it's easier to find. Right, time to build the pizza. It's getting a bit hot, so Joe's taking the dogs back. Don't look too bad, does it? And these are certainly warming up in the sun. Tomato with Italian herb spice and a bit of chilli just on there. I do make all my own dough as well, which is probably the longest part of this process. It's a great way to feed people and great to do on campsites. If you have one of these electric pizza ovens, you get lots of interest from other people on campsites. And I buy the pizza boxes to eat them out of because it's easier, and particularly if you're feeding lots of people, you just put them on pizza boxes and it's so much easier. I've already chopped my veg, onions, olives, mushrooms. I actually think less on a pizza is more, get better quality. And then some grated cheese. I like to grate my own cheese so it hasn't got any additional ingredients in. So do put some ingredients in when they grate cheese and sell it to stop it sticking together. Doesn't take long to grate. These all sit in the camper van fridge, although the remains of that by the heat of today probably going in the bin. And I also make my pizzas on tins like this because they perfectly fit in there and it makes life so much easier. So there we are. There's a timer on this. Set it for about 5 minutes and we're away. I must remember as well, though this is a very robust and designed for the outdoor life, as we've proved it today hopefully, this comes with a 5-year guarantee. Now, the 5-year guarantee from Anker are really good. There's no quibble on them. I've just realised another thing as well. That's going to take quite a while to cool down after I've made the pizzas. I think I'm going to be here for some time before I can take this lot to the van. I really didn't think this one out, did I? But what could be better? Pizza in a remote place like this. I love pizzas and I love being outdoors. Perfect day. If you've been doing your research into power packs, you'll know that the best batteries are lithium phosphate batteries, and this has the generation 4 lithium phosphate battery, and that means the recycling of power, so the regeneration of power, how many times you can drop it down to fully charge it. It'll be about 3,000 times for a lithium phosphate battery, and this of course has a lithium phosphate battery. And the other thing about lithium phosphate batteries is it can charge really quick. So from plugging this into the mains, and it's just a lead, there's no power brick, it'll take 1.4 hours to fully charge from flat. You can charge it from 1,000 watts of solar, and you can also charge it from 12 volts in your car or your van. The 12 volts in your car or your van will take considerably longer, probably up to about 19 hours. But it's a good way of topping it up. So when you're driving along, if you're moving from site to site, you plug this and just top it up. And you can keep plenty of power in this, but it's a decent sized unit. And of course, as I said before, this is expandable. They do another battery almost, which is the same size as the battery in this, which you can plug into it and double the capacity of the unit, which is fantastic because you might want to buy this now and use it in your camper van, or use it for outdoor living, or use it for a business even, events and things like that. And then later on you think, oh, I wish I had more power. Instead of buying another unit, you can just buy the backup battery, which is cheaper than the actual unit, because it doesn't have all the devices on as the unit does. Are you ready for the great reveal? I think you'll be impressed. Look at that! You didn't expect it to look as good as that, did you? Woohoo! Pizza on the Moor. Close-up shot, slightly in the shade. Oh, and the box is opening, ready for it, look. Automatic box. Now stand back and watch me burn myself getting it out the pan. Oh, I'll unplug that so it starts to cool down. Look at that, non-stick. And into the pizza box. How's about that then? If anybody would like me to show you the full recipe and do a video about this, look at the bottom. Very nice. Oh, slightly a bit hot. If you want me to show you the full recipe and making the pizzas and how I prepare them before we go out and how to do them in a camper van, let me know in the comments below and I'll do a video about it. But they're great to have. Beats having pasta and the usual things you have, and barbecues. And it's a real good way and a cheap way to feed a lot of people. One other thing I've noticed about this, and it's testament to the Anker products, they're always quality. The fans on this are really, really quiet. It's actually running the fans now. It's quite hot today and it's been using a lot of power. Can you hear them on the microphone? I can feel the wind coming out of them, but they are so quiet. Obviously, it has an app, so you could store this in the garage of your camper van, out the way, and use it remotely from your app. But that lithium phosphate battery and those recycling times of 3,000 and a 5-year guarantee, well, you're certainly not going to have any problems for the first 5 years. And this should last you at least 10 years in that recycling process to 3,000 times, or even longer. But don't forget, even though this may lose some of its capacity, the size of the battery, what the power can hold in the side of the battery after 3,000 recharges from flat, it'll still be usable. It's just that the capacity will be slightly lower, be about 80%, and you'll still use it in the same way. So very rugged, well built, and we'll show it back at the camper van to make sure it makes it back the mile or so back to the camper van where we brought it from. And I'll also in a bit put some clips in the cottage of showing it for off-grid backup as well. Well, last bit of pizza, and I did eat it all. It was delicious. That's still red hot. It's time to carry everything back to the van. Should have brought a tent, should have stayed the night. The life of a YouTuber, the bits you don't see. Come on, Anker. It's like dragging the Whippets out on a wet day. And if you're still watching this, I've got to walk all the way back to get the rest of the stuff and switch the bloody camera off. The hard bit was nothing to do with this. This is so easy having the wheels on it, and as you can see, it's made it back. And there doesn't actually appear to be any sheep poo on it. We're back in the cottage, and I'm pleased to say it survived. It's just a bit dusty, that's all. But very strong, very rugged. This is the box it comes in. Super fast charging on this, so this will charge from 0 to 80% within an hour and charge from 0 to 100% in about an hour and 15 minutes, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, 1.4 hours to charge from the mains, and from solar panels, if you have the maximum amount of solar, it'll charge in 2.5 hours, and if you're charging it from your car, from flat, it will charge at 19.6 hours. The output on this is from the sockets on there, 2,300 watts shared between the three 3-pin sockets, USB-C times 3, 100 watts fast charge, USB-A, 2 of them at 12 watts, and it has 2 of the car sockets. And this is really good because they are 120 watts each. So if you're in a camper van and you're using this to run a fridge or something like that, it'll cope no problem. You could actually wire your camper van up to a cigarette socket or 2 cigarette sockets for your fuse box, put all your wiring in for your lights and everything else, and then just plug them into this, which is great to see. It's 120 watts each. That's really good output on them. Comes with a bag, and in the bag you get the leads and the instruction book. Kettle lead, so no charging brick. And it's great not to have the charging brick because it doesn't take up any room. But if you lose this is basically a kettle lead. So you can get these from anywhere, which is great. It comes with a solar charging lead, and it's a multi-solar charging lead with the standard connectors on there. So you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can plug 5 separate solar panels into this. And as I say, it'll take 1,000 watts of solar, which is incredible for the size. It comes with the car lead. So plug into your cigarette socket in your car, and it's got the same socket to plug into the back, same as the solar. But with this, the thing to remember about this is this unit does through charging as well. So if you want to charge something up as you're driving along, you can put power in from your car as you're driving. It'll go through this and it'll actually charge the unit up as you're driving. So you're not using all the capacity of your battery. So if you're driving along and you've got solar on, or you've got it plugged into this, this will actually take that power through the unit and push it into whatever you're charging. So if you're on a route to charge your e-bike or somewhere, and you're going away for the weekend and your e-bike's not completely charged, if you plug this in as you're driving along, you can take the power through this and it'll go into your e-bike and charge it, so you won't deplenish all the power in this. Although there's so much power in this, it'll last you a good weekend. You're talking about charging it. Comes with a comprehensive instruction book, but to be fair, I've not had to use this. You can go to the University of YouTube and have a look on there. There's lots of great videos on there, very technical videos about this unit, and they all come up really well. So if you are seriously looking at buying one of these, check out some of those other videos as well for the technical information. And as I said, there's the offer, the Father's Day offer below in the description, which will get you a discount as well. I always like it when they come with a bag, because in the camper van or wherever you are, if they're in a bag and the bag's got the name of the unit on, a little tag on there in blue to say it's an Anker product, so you know it's for that unit. There's nothing worse than going away and you take the wrong power unit with you, or the wrong charging leads with you, so it's good to have that. Right, the next thing we'll do is see if it'll run the cottage. Our cottage is a 200-year-old stone brick cottage. We live on top of a hill in the middle of the national park, and we get lots of power cuts. So we have a unit built into our cottage where we can switch from mains power over a generator for this type of thing. So we'll plug it in, and it's a good test to see if this will actually run the cottage. The fridge, it's a warm day, the fridges are on and off, and I think the dishwasher's running as well, so we'll see if it'll run it okay. So there's the unit. It's another thing with this I keep forgetting is there's only one button to switch the sockets on, which is good. Most other devices you have to switch the device on and then switch the sockets on. So we'll plug this in. This cable goes into this transfer box. This transfer box goes up to the main fuse box in the cottage, so everything will run off this generator. So I'll just turn it off. So that's all the power in the cottage turned off from the mains, and I'll turn it across to the generator. And now this is running everything in the cottage. And we're currently using only 144 watts. But the interesting thing with this, and why we test this, is as you switch those over, if it's a good inverter, it just switches over straight away, there's no problems. If it's not such a good inverter, it trips the fuses in the cottage. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's not a lot on at the moment. We'll check the lights to make sure the lights are working from it. That's the lights in the living room and the lights in the kitchen. And it's just gone up slightly, it hasn't made a great deal of difference. So it proves it's a good home backup as well if you have a power cut. So there you have it, the Anker 767 Powerhouse SOLIX. Highly recommend that piece of kit. Great piece of kit. Good in the house, good in the camper van, could just use out and about, and built to last. And I hope this video has shown that. That pizza was great, by the way. So from me and my two lovely assistants, that's the end of the video. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Do you want to go out? Do you want to go out?